And now let's begin our Hall of Fame inductions. Tonight we pay tribute to 10 new inductees into the American Quarter Horse Hall of Fame. In 1982, at the convention in Anaheim, California, the very first two inductees were honored. They were J. Ernest Browning of Arizona and Robert M. Denhart of California. In the past 34 years, outstanding men, women, and horses have been honored in the Hall of Fame, and thousands of visitors from around the world have learned about the contributions of these inductions when they visit the Hall of Fame and Museum in Amarillo, Texas. Hall of Fame members are also displayed on AQHA's website. Being inducted into the Hall of Fame is the highest honor bestowed on both horses and humans. The inductees have shaped our breed into the largest breed registry and most versatile horse in the world. Through talent, hard work, dedication, and sure, sometimes luck, all have a story to tell. Tonight we have the privilege of listening to the stories of the 2016 Hall of Fame inductees. This year's 6 equine inductees achieved success in the show ring and on the racetrack and made legendary and significant impacts on the American quarter horse history. We'll also honor 4 individuals whose horsemanship, ability to spot greatness, and leadership have touched the lives of many horses and humans while shaping the industry and blazing the trail for the lifestyle we all know. I hope each of you will have the chance to visit the American Quarter Horse Hall of Fame and see where each of these inductees fits into the timeline of our history. In July, a dedication ceremony will be held at the Hall of Fame. At that time, the displays of our newest Hall of Fame members will be revealed. Come visit us and see their stories because they are your stories also. Now let's meet the class of 2016. We begin with Mr. Gunsmoke.
Mr. Gunsmoke was ahead of his time. The 1961 stallion was a bright sorrel, but he was thin and gangly as a baby and was slow to mature. He was bred by Harley and Mamie Prince of Bazine, Kansas, a son of Rondo Leo, and out of the Kansas Star mare, Kansas Cindy. Mr. Gunsmoke changed hands several times, but he landed in hands that knew what to do with him when noted horseman Dale Wilkinson bought him for $2,500, a trophy, and a filly. Dale knew Mr. Gunsmoke's amazing sensitivity would make him also sensitive to a cow, and Dale started cutting on the stallion to promote him, earning 71 AQHA points in cutting and a superior, plus more than $8,000 in National Cutting Horse Association earnings. Then Mr. Gunsmoke was retired to the breeding shed. He was an absolute gentleman, remembers Mavis Garber, Dale's oldest daughter who worked with him from the beginning. Smoke's polite manners, explosive athletic ability, and sensitivity translated to his offspring, and he quickly built a reputation as a sire of performers. Some of the memorable include NRHA Hall of Famers Miss White Trash and Hollywood Smoke, Gunsmoke's Dream, who won the 1972 NCHA Futurity with Dale, and National Reined Cowhorse Association Futurity champ Kit's Smoke. Even before his Futurity win with Kit's Smoke, Benny Guitron was a Mr. Gunsmoke fan. When Gary Wexler of Baccaville, California asked what stallion he should buy, Benny said, "I know a horse that has already had a cutting Futurity winner, a snaffle-bit Futurity winner, and they're doing well in reining. With the mares we have out here, he'd be a great outcross." Gary bought Mr. Gunsmoke and campaigned him relentlessly, turning the great sire into a household name in California. He was crossed on Dock Bar mares and Poco Tivio mares and anything else breeders had in their barns. "I just can't brag on that horse enough," Benny said. "I've always said it. If you didn't have a little Gunsmoke in your pedigree, you didn't have a brood mare." It's still true going through the test of time. In all, Mr. Gunsmoke progeny went on to collect more than $900,000 in NCHA and nearly $50,000 in NRHA. His Git earned more than 2,000 points in AQHA competition. He sired 3 reserve world champions and 1 year-end high point winner. His Grand Git were also performers, such as Reminikit, a 3-time AQHA world champion. As a maternal grandsire, Mr. Gunsmoke's Git have earned $92,000 at the AQHA World Show, $2.4 million in NCHA, $860,000 in NRHA, and $350,000 in NRCHA. Mr. Gunsmoke was inducted into the NRCHA Hall of Fame in 1980 and the NRHA Hall of Fame in 2008. In fall of 1982, Jerry Rapp bought the stallion. "We got Mr. Gunsmoke in his limelight years," says Phil Rapp, Jerry's son, who was a youngster who admired the stallion and is now a leading cutting trainer. "I don't even know if we owned him a full 12 months before he died in 1983. He was a horse well before his time. We always had a great respect for the reiners and the snafflebitters and how diversified that stallion's offspring were." And now we welcome the stallion who was described as ahead of his time into the American Quarter Horse Hall of Fame.
Please help me in welcoming Phil Rapp to accept on behalf of Mr. Gunsmoke. Congratulations, sir.
Thank you very much. Doc, thank you.
Let's get a photo real fast. Get a photo first. This man wants to speak.
Frank Merrill told me I needed to say something.
No, don't listen to Frank Merrill. Don't listen to Frank Merrill.
Well, thank you all. I love that horse. In 1979, my parents and I got in the horse business, and we didn't know much about the horse business, and I'd get the magazines and look through the magazines, and here's this bald-faced horse with 4 white socks, had a name of Mr. Gunsmoke. I thought, wow, that's great. And I love the old westerns. I love watching Gunsmoke on TV. Love John Wayne. I thought, boy, this is our horse. So we started to breed to the horse, and we began a great relationship with the breeding manager of Mr. Gunsmoke, Mr. Jeff Oswood, who was unable to attend tonight. He was supposed to come up with us, but he had come down with a case of vertigo. But we were very fortunate to, breed some mares to that horse, buy some daughters of Mr. Gunsmoke. I was even fortunate enough to be a rider of Mr. Gunsmoke in 1980, I believe. I was 10 years old, and we went down there to take a mare to be bred to him. Mr. Wexler and Mr. Oswood, they said, "Jerry, do you mind if your son rides a horse down here?" My dad said no. So they brought Mr. Gunsmoke out and had him saddled up, and I crawled on there. And of course, I had a shirt that said Mr. Gunsmoke, and I had a hat that said Mr. Gunsmoke. And I even went so far, I didn't realize I was marketing like I was for Mr. Wexler. I had a jacket made with Mr. Gunsmoke, and underneath Mr. Gunsmoke's name, it said "The Greatest." And I'd walk around with that jacket on at the snaffle bit fraternity and stuff. I really did love that horse. So 1982, my father, he sold his business in California and decided to get into the horse business. And he bought Mr. Wexler out, and he bought his stallions, but namely, he bought Mr. Gunsmoke. And I remember when he told me that news, we were sitting there at the kitchen table, and I just burst into tears. I thought, what a great opportunity. Well, you know, Mr. Gunsmoke was just such a great horse in the industry. As we know now, he'd be 55 years old, and many things have changed. But that horse was such a versatile sire. As you know, he was, he bred any and every mare he could in the day, and he sired champions in the reining fraternity, sired champions in the cutting fraternity and the snaffle bit fraternity, and he really was a versatile horse. And I've made the comment to my wife many times. I said, boy, I wish I could figure out a way to get some Gunsmoke semen there. I've got a couple of these highbrow cat mares I'd love to cross on him. I think it would be wonderful. But so as we purchased that horse in 1982, we had a first sale in cutting in 1983 in the Napa Valley. And darn it, if the first day of that first cutting, Mr. Gunsmoke, he got down in his stall. And Jeff Oswood, who had come to work for us, called my dad up early in the morning. He said, Jerry, Mr. Gunsmoke's down. He can't get up. And my dad and mom were never anyone to let a horse suffer. And so they decided to euthanize that horse. And, of course, we were putting on this huge cutting and sale that weekend, so they had to keep him in his stall, you know, because it was getting on there. And I remember Dad had to come into my bedroom and tell me that they put that horse down. And it was a crushing moment for me, but I can remember going in there and kind of saying my respects to Mr. Gunsmoke, and he is buried at the ranch in Napa. But as we move forward, that horse, you know, he's blessed our life. As many of you know, my wife and I and our family have been extremely blessed within the horse business, and I want to say that horse had a lot to do with it. We still have some Mr. Gunsmoke blood in some of our mares. In fact, our son, who is just beginning to show, the first money that our son won at an NCHA aged event was on a mare by the name of Metallic Smoke, and she was a mare that goes back to Gunsmoke several generations, and so we're very proud of that, and I'm very proud that the AQHA and all the people, the Hall of Fame membership that decided to induct that horse, you know, brought honor to that horse, but brought honor to that horse, brought honor to the Wilkinson family and Dale Wilkinson, and what a great hand Mr. Wilkinson was and his family, and Gary Wexford for bringing the horse to California, Jeff Oswood, all the time that he spent with that horse, and it's a tremendous honor for me to come up and get an award on my dad's behalf. He's been gone for over 20 years, and he's, you know, he gave me a lot of responsibility, and I've tried to do my best with it, and it's just nice to come up here and receive an award for him, and that we can still remember the horse and my parents and that. So with that, I want to thank you all again for your little bit of time, and thanks the AQHA for inducting Mr. Gunsmoke.